Hey guys, hope you guys had a solid week on the markets. This is my second post for the channel. Just wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking a little bit about how this past week went. I wanted to share a little bit about what I do at the end of every week to kind of go over my trade logs and stats and all that stuff and how that plays a role into what I look into the coming week. Also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the prop firms. I know I've been kind of sharing a little bit about that on my Instagram and Discord as of recently as well. And again, I've only been doing this for about since August. So what is that, 5, 6 months now? So just I remember having a lot of questions when I first started on this journey. So just kind of sharing my experience so far, and I'll continue to do that as well. So first off here, I want to kind of just share with you guys the chart itself. So what I was kind of looking at. So as you can kind of see right now, I'm on the weekly time frame. Overall, it looks bullish to me. I am expecting some further upside in the coming week here. Now, as I say that, it does not mean that I'm just going to full port longs at every point. It just means that that's just my initial bias at the very moment in time. But I got to be prepared as a trader to react to anything that comes my way, right? So going on the weekly time frame here, I saw made that comment already. On the daily, we kind of put in a daily little bit of a bearish candle, but we did kind of still hold this spot. So again, I am still looking for longs as we kind of had the break of structure here. But again, I'll be ready for either way at this point in time. Kind of going to the 4 hour time frame as well. Just sharing a little bit here. So in my story, I had mentioned that these past few weeks had been absolutely fire for myself. I've had some really solid trades, solid weeks, solid payouts. But this past week, I took it easy. I mentioned that I was really focused on just base hits, and there was kind of a reason for that. The moment I noticed that the charts weren't really moving in the way that I had been really feeling the vibe on, I kind of just took that as a signal to I need to take it slow, get my base hits, and really consolidate my thoughts in the same way that the market is kind of consolidating itself as well. So I've highlighted here in the box. This is basically this past week's price action, right? And so you can kind of see that over the course of so we had Monday here, which was kind of a short day, Martin Luther King Day, right? But as soon as we kind of got on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can see this already. Like we're just kind of just chopping here, back and forth, back and forth. Now there were still trades to be taken, which is kind of where I took my minimum base hits, depending on whether it was MyFundedFutures or Tradeify. I got my $200 or $250 minimum in just to make sure that I got my trading day locked in. But overall, didn't go too crazy. And I think it's important that we recognize that, right? I think in the past, I would try to trade like I trade every single day. And that really worked against me because if I was looking for, really solid moves like these ones over here, um, I probably would have just ended up tilting myself if I was trying to capture these when the chart just wasn't giving me that, right? So I think it's important for us to understand when it's time for us to go for scalps, when it's time for us to go for the longer holds. And again, I've kind of shared, I think for the past 3 weeks, I've been doing a lot of overnight swings ranging between 90 points to 175 point swings, right? And so again, the market presented those opportunities, so I took them. But notice that this week, I don't think I took a single swing at all this week. I really just focused on scalping and nothing wrong with that. So anyways, just wanted to kind of just share some of that perspective. I will try to dive into more chart reviews and stuff like that in the near future here, and I'll share kind of the trades I took. But because I really just took base hits this week, I don't have a lot to share, to be honest. And again, if you guys want me to share more of that, just drop a comment in the section there, and I'll try to build some of the video content around how I scalp as well. But for now, I kind of wanted to kind of dig into my routines, my weekly reviews, right? So kind of hopping straight in here, I'm going to go to here, my trader stats. So you guys have probably seen me talk about this, and you've probably seen some of the pictures that I've shared as well on Instagram. Um, Trader Stats is actually a journal company that I'm using at this point in time. It's a newer one, and the developer is still working on evolving it, but very open to feedback, which is kind of what I love about it. So anytime you could reach out, absolutely, just drop a follow on them on Instagram, and I'm sure they're more than happy to answer any questions you have. And there's also free trials for this as well, so no pressure to spend money on it if you don't have to, right? It'll be very similar to what you guys have seen on other digital trading platforms or journal platforms, sorry, such as TradeZella and all that. So kind of diving straight into this, for me, every week I look into my stats, right? I upload all my different platforms and I would go through it. So right now, this is my dashboard. So for example, I'm going to go take a look at my 150K starter account that I've been kind of talking a lot about. As soon as I click on it, I can look through and take a look at how my performance has been. So for the month of January, I can see my win rate, profit factor, average win, average time per trade. And as I kind of go through the bottom as well, there's even much more valuable data to be had here, right? How many trades did I take? How much commission did I pay towards the platform that I'm on, in this case, Tradeify, right? If I have a win streak, how long of a win streak am I on? If I have a losing streak, how much of a losing streak am I on? So a lot of valuable data. I won't go through too much of it. Again, you can totally just take the trial and play around with it to see if you like it or not. But so far, I find it super valuable. From here, often I'll go into the calendar as well and I'll pluck away. So I'll select the same account again. So I'll go through each day and say, okay, let's just say, for example, I want to take a look at the most recent Friday trades. I would pop that open. It'll give me the daily. So now I can kind of see on the daily. Sorry, I got to highlight the same one again. On the daily, it's going to show me what was my P&L on the day. Like I said, I went for my minimum, right? Base hits. I got my $200 for the MFFU account. And then it kind of shows me all the same stats that we were talking about earlier. 100% win rate, because again, I only took the one trade. So, but you can kind of also see where I entered and exited, because it's again integrated with the trading view here. And then you can also see kind of when you can also see the trade log down here as well. So again, super valuable. I do this with every single one of my accounts. And for those who follow me know, I do not trade copy. I know it sounds a little crazy, but with all the prop firms that I trade with, I trade each account individually, and I do that for a reason. Best metaphor is really wax on and wax off. I'm not looking to trade multiple accounts in one go. I want to go step by step for two reasons. One, I know trade copying is probably an easier way to make money on multiple accounts, but for those who have been following me know, I talk a lot about risk, and I'm more focused on what I'm willing to risk more than what I'm willing to make. So with that same thought process, yes, the euphoria of being able to copy trade 5 accounts and win on all 5 accounts feels and sounds amazing. But I also know that if I were to lose on 5 accounts on one trade, that would mentally tilt me a lot harder than the win itself. So I look at it as, if I'm going to tilt on copy trading a loss and it's going to affect me for today, tomorrow, next week, I don't think that's worth my mental capital. And so for that reason, I will genuinely like to trade individually. And I know it's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. I think everyone to each their own, right? But I'm just sharing why I kind of go about that way. So because of that, again, I go through each account individually, because every single account is going to have different trade stats for me. I know it sounds like a lot of information, but it does also help me sharpen my strategy. And it's also played a big role as to help me achieve the higher win rates that I've been able to, while still being able to hold a fairly decent R multiple and profit factor in my trades, right? So anyways, that's just a quick rundown on that. And then, just touching on some of the prop firms, right? I highlighted recently in my Instagram post about the 3 prop firms I like most at this time. And I am still dabbling with others like Top Step and Take Profit Trader, which is a little bit newer to me. But MyFundedFutures is kind of where my journey began. And that's simply because my trading mentor, Jake Ritchie, Rake Trades, had talked about them in the early stages of things, right? And so far, I've loved them. It's where I've started. So I'm gonna have a sentiment towards them, but I do like the discipline that it's really created for me. This is my 150K starter account. I recommend for anyone who's starting up to take advantage of the starter account, because it's a very low cost to entry. You can kind of see here, it's $97 a month. I mean, that's pretty solid for you to get started, build your trading journey, learn your futures trading and all that. And yeah, I mean, these offer a maximum payout of $1,200 every 5 days, assuming that you can obviously hit the minimums and all that. So for $97 to be able to do that, I mean, either you could take a look at $97 to learn the craft, or $97 to potentially generate $1,200 every 5 days, right? So either way, I personally recommend the starter 50K as a starting, but there are a lot of different options that you can kind of siphon through. The other account that prop firm that I also trade with is Tradeify. Again, a lot of options here. I personally like the growth accounts the most, mainly because I don't like the trailing intraday drawdown that the advance have. So I find growth as a perfect balance between the straight to funded and the advance. Now, straight to funded, this obviously skips all the noise of passing evals and stuff like that, which is super valuable for a lot of you guys out there. So as long as you're okay with the price point and getting into this, very great option for those. Again, I like the growth accounts the most because it offers me no intraday trailing drawdown, which is what the advanced offers. But then also in terms of consistency rate, the consistency rate is 35% versus 20% with the straight to funded. So just in terms of like what's going to help me get to the payout the quickest, I find the growth is the best. Might be a little rigorous to go through the whole evaluation phase, but again, personal preference, but straight to funded super popular as well. Last but definitely not least, one of the newer prop firms, but honestly, so far, my favorite is Funded Futures Family. Again, they do offer deals once in a while. I think they just recently stopped there, so you can kind of keep an eye out for any deals that might come up in the near future here. But I find Funded Futures Family the best so far. Yes, they're a new prop firm. Yes, there's a lot of learning things that they're working on as well. I know a lot of people complain a lot about their scaling plan and why isn't it automated restricted. And trust me, I fell victim to that too as well. My first payout was actually denied because I broke that rule unknowingly, right? And so that is part of the game. But I would say to this date, even though they're the newest prop firm and it was the last prop firm that I had hopped onto recently, it's also the one that has paid me out the most since I've started this journey. Because of the flexibility of what you can do with their accounts, I find it a lot easier to get those larger payouts. And so again, you can check out what I've posted on Instagram. I shared a lot of my thoughts there already, and I've shared my payouts and stuff like that there as well, so you can kind of see it. But definitely recommend Funded Futures Family for that flexibility. So anyways, that's just for my comments for the week. Again, I'll try to post at least once or twice a week on YouTube here just to kind of share my journey. But anyways, yeah, hope you guys had a great week overall and preparing for the next week here. Looking forward to some better action this coming week. Thanks, guys. See you guys soon.